Francesco Sostero.
Well said. Well
Thank you very much. That's the most stressful part of this, over and done with.
Done.
Welcome to Tasty Humans. Thank you for taking time out of your incredibly busy schedule to do this. For the sake of everyone watching, who are you and what do you do?
So thanks for having me. I am Francesco. I'm an hotelier. I became an hotelier by chance, and I work for a company called Roya International. We are a asset management hospitality advisory company, technical services, F&B. We do many things around hotels.
How did you become a hotelier by chance?
Because I was in marketing in a telephone company in Italy, in Vodafone actually, and someone asked me, would you like to put your name on for director of marketing for Hilton, for Italy? And I found hospitality more interesting than telephones, and so yes, I was why not?
Yeah, it is.
Things,
yeah,
right?
I get that. Yeah. And so, which part of Italy were you in? Where are you from?
Milano.
Okay, cool.
Always been in Milano. Yeah.
And so, what you joined Hilton as director of marketing. What year was this?
It was 2008.
Okay.
April Fool 2008.
Okay. Yeah. And so what was it like then integrating into a hotel straight away from a telephone company?
It has been a journey. I think it took me a good year to move into that. Telecom company were already extremely advanced. The margins are way lower than hospitality, so they really work on the life cycle of a client and how much you can invest to acquire a client, to retain a client. Everything is based on a CRM fundamentally. So, and that determines how much you can spend on TV advertisement and so on and so forth, right? But you have one market and one campaign, and Italy, invest on Italy, and so on and so forth. So first of all, when I arrived, I had an hotel in Rome, an hotel in Venice, an hotel in Milan, an hotel in Naples, and so on and so forth. And you can't really run the same campaign for all hotels because they depend on different tourism. So Venice is much more from France, for example. Rome is much more US. Florence is very US, and so on and so forth, right? So you need to understand that the rule of one size fits all really don't work in hospitality, right? So you need to be a tailor marketeer rather than a mass marketeer.
That's a very interesting term, a tailor marketeer. I quite like that. So were you going into Hilton in the early days then? So back in 2008, 2009, how much has it changed, do you think, throughout this journey? Marketing itself for hotels and...
Well, yeah, at corporate level, I think we did many changes and it evolved a lot. Back then, we were being outpaced by the growth of the OTAs. So we were losing a little bit in terms of relationship with the clients because the OTAs were becoming predominant in doing that, right? And they were better in... online, and they were better in advertisement, and they had more power in spending. And I think Hilton has been one of the first, but then all the others, we did all the same thing, is to refocus on loyalty and to really give value to our loyal guests and our loyalty systems. So we improved drastically the presence of loyal guests in the hotel from like the 30% to 60%, for sake. So that was a massive change.
And what were the things that you implemented in order to do this?
We started giving immediate benefit. Loyalty before was a frequent traveler program. If you were not frequent, you didn't get any benefit. So back in the days, we were asking to pay for Wi-Fi. So if you sign up for loyalty, Wi-Fi is free, right? And we started with that. And then we did the private rate. So if you're loyal, you pay less. Right, so on your website, you pay, on our own website, you pay less than on third-party websites, and all of that generated the big change and the big growth. And cannot speak about the numbers, but 3-4 times the customer base of the loyal systems today are 3-4 times what they were in 2008.
Do you think in this day and age, like now, there's too many loyalty schemes? And what I mean by that is you know, I work with one myself, and it's difficult one of my sort of challenges with it is that it's not just a hotel giving a loyalty program, it's your telephone company, it's your favorite, it's Nike.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's your favorite brands, and now it's your favorite restaurants, and all of a sudden there's, I mean, I was playing golf this morning at Top Golf.
Which is not golf.
Which is, no,
It's a bowling version of golf.
No, yes. Well, it's a fun way to learn. Plus, I know the guys there, so they gave me a great deal on my get into golf, you know. You've got really big targets to hit, so you know.
Yeah.
So on the flip side is when it goes in, you're like, yeah. And when you don't, you're like, you can't even hit something that big. So imagine hitting something this big. But even this morning, I paid for my coffee and they asked me if I had the loyalty program. And it's like, how many apps am I supposed to have?
Yeah.
And is it tougher now to push loyalty because across, say, all of the hotels that you're involved in, you know, have they all got their own different program offering different things?
Yeah.
And what do you see is something that's being successful?
There was a moment where there was the idea, if you think about in the UK, Avios was a platform cross industries to accumulate points from different retailers and brands and so on and so forth. And I think BA was on Avios, and I think it still is. I from a consumer perspective, I totally agree with you. The amount of apps, when I go and play golf in Jumeirah Golf Estate, they ask for Vaya. If you go
yeah,
in
that's
another,
real
they ask
golf,
for Troon.
That's real golf. Yeah.
Right? So that's real golf.
Yeah, that's real golf.
So from a consumer point of view, definitely, and I don't know why this trend. I think it was a great idea, actually, the loyalty platform cross industries, and it's also a great example. Like GHA, Global Hotel Alliance, is a platform is used by minor, but used also by independent hotels, right? So that you can access a loyalty database even if you are not part of a chain or so I think so. I think you're right, but I don't see this happening anymore, right? So especially here in the UAE, we are full of loyalty. We have entertainer. We pay for membership to get benefits, right? So
it's very much a discount culture.
Yeah.
So everything's a deal. Everything's a discount. I mean, a very wise friend of mine, this is COO of a big hospitality company here, is everyone wants a deal. Everyone wants a package.
Yeah.
You know, so the F&B people sort of sit around trying to design bespoke dishes and teach the team to upsell and everything, where really what people want is they want to pay one price and they want to eat all of it and drink all of it for 3 hours, you know, and then they want to leave. And that is very much a trend in the UAE.
If you think about Venice, for example, in Venice it's ultra expensive for the tourists, but the locals, they pay half, informally and formally. Even for transportation, you show the Venice card and they get for free.
Okay.
Right? So I think we should arrive to that point that if you have Emirates ID, automatically everywhere, because we live here, we shouldn't be charged as much as we love to charge
very good
the
idea.
tourism, right?
That's a very good idea.
But it's the loyalty, right? So it's those systems, those membership, and so on and so forth, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how does it work? And obviously just explain as much as you can without giving away the trade secrets, but how does it work when you're running a big sort of management company that's dealing with hotels? In my experience, I've only been around companies that run restaurants and do individual sort of miniature contracts, but what's it like on this large international scale?
Well, you try to, even for your own sanity, at the end of the day, you try to put them all on the same discipline, right? So the same monthly business reviews, and then there are different level of problems. So when a hotel gets more into trouble, you move also to weekly calls, you can move to daily calls, and so on and so forth. We are very much data driven, so we trust the data that we see. We try to understand the trend from the data, don't looking at a picture but looking at the movie, right? So looking at where are we going to with that, and understanding the status of the asset in that specific moment of time and where to bring it up, right? So in certain situations, you know that you can be more aggressive, you can add costs because this will generate incremental guest satisfaction and it will generate incremental ADR and it will pay back more than the cost that you added. or you may say, wow, our cost base here is disproportionate compared to the marketplace where an hotel is running, so we need to go down and trim the costs. So it's all about finding and maintaining the hotel in the sweet spot, right? So in the sweet spot of performances.
And what sort of hotels do you have in the Roya family?
Well, I'm in charge of 16 hotels, and they span. I got one in London, which is very interesting.
Whereabouts in London? My hometown.
Ultra luxury hotel, very close to Knightsbridge.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got Saudi, I got Qatar, two interesting little projects in Qatar, which are little in size, but they follow the appetite of Qatar to develop new experiences. So there are resorts, remote resorts, one in the desert and one by the beach is a kite surf resort. And then here in the UAE, Palm, Ajman, Fujairah resorts, the IFC, everywhere. And
what's Qatar like?
Well, it's actually a very nice place. Aesthetically, is absolutely beautiful. The nature is also beautiful. They counted a lot on FIFA, and they did an amazing job in terms of growth to be able to accommodate FIFA. And now the expectation was that after FIFA, Qatar is in the map of global tourism, right? So, but it doesn't click like that, right? So it's bouncing now. It's after FIFA there was a dip, but now last year was a big bounce back, and it's getting there. We see more charter flights coming in, tour operator investing on the destination, so it's getting there definitely.
I think there's a lot of countries that suffer from that sort of thing where they'll host the Olympics or the World Cup and then there is an incredible global impetus on them for a month.
Yeah.
And then I think the one that I remember the most is Beijing, where it looked, I think they spent 50 billion on the Beijing Olympics.
Wow.
Which was stunning. I remember it 2008, yeah. And then you saw like a year later, like stadiums are empty, the pools are, the buildings are becoming decrepit. What are they using the stadiums for, actually, now I'm thinking about it, in Qatar? Because they did a brilliant job of building, I think it was 6 or 8.
And they're still there. And some of them are Zaha did design, really remarkable, monuments and very nice building. They're still there. Yes, that on that sense, like if you see, for example, Formula One in Qatar and Formula One in Abu Dhabi, well, Formula One in Abu Dhabi is full of events and is fully loaded machine, right? So, so they are still developing on that sense and making more attraction and event. Look in the Riyadh and the Riyadh Festival, they call it, 6 months of concerts and DJs and things happening.
Saudi's going crazy.
Saudi is leading on that perspective. But I think everybody at the end of the day is fascinated about what Dubai did, and everybody realized that, wow, that can be done, right? So, and everybody is trying to, not to catch up, but to do something in that direction.
To sort of break through.
Yeah.
You know, I think how long have you been here, by the way?
Since 2017.
Okay. So I've been here longer than you. I came 2015. I think you're one of the first people that's come on here where I've actually been here longer than said person. So that's why I had that kind of reaction. But it's when you live here, did you suffer the same thing I did, which was you think you have a preconception of what it's going to be like, and then when you get here, you realize it's kind of completely different in a good way.
Yeah.
Where the rules are not what you think or what you've been told. They're still here, but they kind of make a lot of sense.
Yeah. I don't think you can understand what living in Dubai means before coming and doing it. Because when you come as a tourist, you stay in nice hotels, you go to the posh restaurants, you live a life which is different than, the flip-flop lifestyle that you have, and the sand which enters into your room or your house if there is a sandstorm and these kind of things is totally different. And my journey, actually, I lived in London for 5 years during the Olympics, actually in 2012.
Whereabouts do you live?
I was in southwest London, Richmond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I used to live in the southwest. I was in Fulham and Chelsea for the best part of 15 years. Yeah.
because the
Southwest
school,
is the
the
best,
school,
you know.
actually the office was in Watford, but yeah, so the journey.
Sorry, Watford.
The journey was not great, but the school of my kids, they were going to the German school, and he's down there in Petersham, and so I had to stay local there. Beautiful area, very beautiful area.
Very, yeah, it's lovely, Richmond.
And then we moved to Frankfurt, Germany, for 3 years, and then after the organized and structured Germany, we moved to Dubai. So a bit of a cultural shock, but yeah, happy. The kids were very happy in Dubai.
Yeah, it's as I was sort of alluding to, which is I've been here a decade and I've been on numerous holidays, and it's I still feel the same thing where I kind of really like getting back. So not when I lived in London, where you're going to leave where you've been on holiday and you're almost crying at the fact that you're going to go back to the UK, which is cold and busy and things kind of don't work that much. And this is going to sound very Dubai when I say this, but it's things like escalators and stuff like that. But when you use the London Underground, for your life, if it doesn't work, you just walk up it. But here, like, everything works so much that when it doesn't, you're like, how dare they?
But we are definitely spoiled. I mean, Dubai is a holiday place, right? So the moment we are off, this morning you were in Topgolf, probably took you 10 minutes drive from home to Topgolf. And then, which is what I do when I go playing golf. I mean, in the UK, last time I was there for work, I extended during the weekend, and I went and playing golf with friends. It was a good hour and 20 to go to their local golf club. It was raining.
Local. Yeah, raining, of course.
It was raining.
Oh, I'm not surprised,
So yeah. Actually, I was happy to leave the UK because of the weather, coming from Italy. And not because apparently the number of sunny days in London are more than in Milan.
Okay.
But you never know when they come.
100%. And people don't get this. You can't make plans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was the frustrating bit. You don't know if you can invite friends for barbecuing or not, because you don't know if it's going to rain or not.
Or then you actually go to Hyde Park at like midday because it's hot, and then at 2 p.m. it's cloudy and it's raining and it's cold and miserable.
Yeah.
No, very much. Very, very true. Very much like the UK.
Here is quite predictable.
Yeah, it's either hot or it's really hot.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you think the sort of travel market is faring now, sort of post-COVID? It's a very strange time here with a place that was so reliant on hospitality and travel, for suddenly this incident to happen globally, that suddenly everyone went, don't go anywhere near each other and don't travel.
Yeah, no, well, listen, it was shocking. And actually, when I left Hilton in 2017, probably is the last time I was kind of approached by other industry, and I was thinking, should I change industry or stay in this industry? And I thought, well, tourism will never go down, right? So because it will keep growing, more China is into the world and all of that. So I never imagined anything like COVID could ever happen. And it was really shocking, right? So I was working in Jumeirah back then, and when we had to close the Burj Al Arab, I never thought Dubai would have closed the Burj Al Arab. So it was shocking for all of us in this industry. Then luckily, being in Dubai, we bounced back in an incredible way, and it was spectacular. Actually, 2022 was a record year for leisure business in Dubai. And now it's bouncing back also in Europe. I spent the summer in Tuscany last summer, and we call it now over-tourism. But it's getting really packed, and not enjoyable anymore. People want to travel, wants to experience, wants to travel even more after COVID. And probably the ones we were financially impacted now, they rebuild their solidity and they can afford to travel again. And but it's really massive, the amount of tourism and going. The airlines are making a record number and record prices because...
well, everyone's trying to reclaim their losses, even though we're what are we now, 2025? So we're moving into the first 5 years. So in the cycle where I think COVID really ended late 2022, early 2023, when it was masks off, and finally you could have that sense of, right, this is actually over.
Yeah.
So we had 3 years of very strange annual figures, because you're going to have the catastrophe of 2020, which was, I mean, I had to shut 5 hotels and numerous problems. We all did it, lay people off. I was laid off myself, et cetera, et cetera. Then 2022 was extremely strong because it's the first time people could travel. So it was very difficult. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So it was 2021, which was when you couldn't travel, so everyone stayed here. Yeah. And Dubai had a bit of tourists, staycations, and the summer was extremely strong. 2022 was when everyone thought those figures are going to stay, and then you could travel, and then everyone left, so the summer plummeted. And I think really 2024 is the first kind of honest, normal P&L, I think, that's happened in Dubai. I mean, what do you think? I mean, you manage these things closely.
You see, there is lots of difference between city hotels and the resorts. This was very high and low in the resorts, because they literally live on leisure tourism. City hotel, Arab Health, those events you were having since 2021, 2022, and so on and so forth. So they were filling the city back then. They're filling now as well. The leisure hotels on Palm, for example, 2022 has been an extraordinary year, because Dubai was one of the safe destinations and was open, and no PCR tests. You remember the things that we were sticking in the nose, and so it was seen as one of the few destinations. So 2022 for leisure has been an incredible year. I agree with you. 2024 is the new norm, let's put it this way. Right? So, and we have new hotels coming in, very interesting hotels, very interesting projects, and much more hotels to come, right? So if you think about Palm Jubil Ali, if you think about their islands, and there are new destinations within Dubai that we don't know today, and are going to come.
How do you think, sorry, when you say the Palm Jebel Ali, which is how many times bigger than the actual Palm?
It's 25% more bigger.
Yeah. And the actual Palm is 7 kilometers of coastline, which is, I mean, I remember when I moved here, I saw it for the first time. We were driving to where I was going to go stay, and we came down, I think it's Jumeirah Road or whatever, and I looked out and I was like, what's that? And someone said it's the Palm, and I couldn't believe how big it was. That's just crazy size. And to think that this one's even bigger, I mean, how do you see the growth in Dubai happening over the period that they're going to build this thing, which I think is probably going to take 8 to 10 years to get everything absolutely set? But it's going to bring...
You can only think about the future of Dubai when you think about the past of Dubai, right? Okay. So you can only project and say, nobody could imagine 20 years ago that Dubai would be what it is today. Nobody, right? Or some visionary, obviously, yes, but that's why they're visionary, and the leadership of this country. So just think about what happened in the last 20 years, and think about what's going to happen similar in the next 20 years, right? So when we will come back to Dubai in 20 years, and we will be retired, and we come from...
I'll be playing real golf. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yesterday I was playing golf with a couple from Switzerland, and they spent 6 months in Dubai and 6 months in Switzerland. So there will be more and more of this. There will be more job opportunities, more tourism, more connectivity, more airlines, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's a crazy thought.
I think the overall, I don't see challenges. I think the summer will be more and more challenging, because it's way more difficult to attract people during the summer, right?
Yeah, because it's, unless you live here, it's stupid hot.
Yeah.
The inability to function outside through July, August, and September, it's much easier to do a winter in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Even though that is horrid, it's the heat here is remarkable.
And as a matter of fact, you can experience ultra luxury hotel during the summer here for $150 $200. I mean, it would never happen in Paris, New York, or London, you know. But
you can experience the room.
Nice air conditioning.
So how do you feel about Ras Al Khaimah and the casinos and that sort of future? Because Ras Al Khaimah is a massively untapped resource.
I think they did very well. I think they did extremely well from a tourism perspective in Ras Al Khaimah. And if you think about it, is a cheaper access to a Dubai experience, right? So, but they start having many attractions and things. The coast is beautiful. Now the casino will be definitely a huge demand generator for Ras Al Khaimah. I know it's a big project. There were talks of Dubai introducing gambling for many years, but I don't think they see the need of doing that because it's growing in any case organically. So these additional demand generator you don't need. Ras Al Khaimah is pushing the boundaries, and all Marjan Island. I think there are still 4 or 5 hotel under construction plus the Wynn. So it's definitely that's a very interesting. I would say one emirate or one destinations who has been more successful touristically after Dubai is Ras Al Khaimah in the Middle East.
Because they have, you know, the mountains, the hiking, the zip line. And it's only an hour away, so you drive up there. But it's actually like going to a different country. Yeah. It's a very cool place. Have you ever been to Vegas?
Yeah.
What's it like?
During my honeymoon.
Oh, okay. Honeymoon in Vegas, perfect. What's Vegas like? Go on.
To be honest, I've never been massively into gambling. Slot machines and roulette, all those things where you don't feel any control, they're not exciting me. So more blackjack and poker, yeah. So it was actually weird to see in any hour of the day or the night, hundreds of people just doing this, hoping for something.
Especially when it's not designed for you to win.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always had this problem with the casinos. Because people go in there and they're like, and I'm like,
statistically,
if this is designed for you to win, then it was not business.
And then the big shows. I mean, the Cirque du Soleil and those things were nice. But we stay only 2 nights.
Okay.
So, and we stayed in the Bellagio, and again I thought, wow, this must be one of the most beautiful hotels. But actually, was for an Italian to go to the Bellagio was the wrong choice.
Why?
Because it's a fake Italian experience, right? So
why is it a fake?
I should have gone to the Caesar.
This is going to lead me into something else. But why is it a fake Italian experience?
Because it's fake. The marbles they look fake. Everything is fake, right? So and it's massive. I mean, Bellagio is a tiny, cozy village on the Como Lake, and I think the Bellagio Hotel is bigger than the village.
So I wanted to ask because Italians are incredibly passionate about the authenticity of their country and especially their food. Now, I've experienced many of this with Italian people, and now Italian food in Dubai, I think it's the second or third most common behind Thai. I can't remember what the other one is. But I wanted to ask...
Must be Indian, no?
Which is... I don't think it is. It's a strange... It's an unusual breakdown where you think that's... I can't remember at the top. It's very surprising. But what's your favourite Italian restaurant in Dubai?
I like very much 2 which are part of the same group, Il Borro and Alici.
Orange Hospitality, I know those boys quite well.
I like them very much. Both location, ambience, service, and quality of food is really amazing.
Because I think El Borro is Tuscany, and Alici is
seafood.
Sicily, isn't it?
It's seafood. You have some. The Alici themselves, they are more from Liguria and from that part. I think it's more Ligurian type of cuisine, but it's those are 2 of my favorites. Definitely.
And what is it about them? Is it that you feel they've, unlike the Bellagio, do you feel that they're doing
authentic?
They're doing the there you go,
authentic, and I don't know why. And this is incredible. But my problem with Italian restaurants in Dubai, or let's say in Dubai, is that they want to do something original. But all tourists who go to Italy, they remember the food for the authenticity of the food and the receipt and the, done in a proper way, right? But we don't want to replicate it here, right? So I'm struggling with all you F&B guys on Italian authenticity and proper receipts and so on and so forth, right? So I would never put, for example, chicken on a pizza.
Okay. I was going to ask for some examples.
Let me give you some examples.
Give me some examples.
I wouldn't put chicken on a pizza, and I wouldn't put truffle on a cacio pepe pasta, because it either a cacio pepe or is a truffle tortellini, a truffle pasta. But it cannot be the combination of the two. Doesn't make sense, right?
Why doesn't it make sense?
Because the truffle overcome you don't feel the cacio pepe.
I don't eat truffle. I can't stand them. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
I had the truffle man on here, Massimo. I told him on the podcast. I'm sorry, I've got to tell you, I can't stand it.
I had a great truffle experience in Pierre Chic.
Okay, yeah.
Where there is now a lady chef, Italian lady chef, Beatrice, I think she's called. Fantastic.
It's really phenomenal venue.
Phenomenal venue, but I never liked the quality of food, to be honest. I think the venue was overcoming and overwhelming the need of having a real proper good food. Now they have everything, and now it's a highly recommended Italian restaurant.
The thing about because I used to work for Jumeirah. So when I came here, I was managing 360. So 360 was the club in the ocean next to Burj Al Arab. Pier Sheik's on the other side. And I remember these two venues when I'd come from underground nightclubs in London, where, a week before I moved to Dubai and was standing on the rooftop of 360. I'm in the basement of an old school hip hop room, breaking up fights and throwing people out into the streets. So the change in my life, where I was like, I can't believe where I'm actually standing. And this is what I've always loved. I've really respected Dubai, is they will go and build kind of the craziest of ideas. And Pier Sheik to be on stilts out of the end of that gantry, and you're sitting there. It's To be honest, the F&B component of Dubai within our industry, hospitality, is the one which is more worrying, if you want, because things have changed a lot. Meaning, back in the day, the fact that you could have licensed restaurant only in hotels was giving lots of benefits to the hotel business. Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you see the hotels design 30 years ago, their F&B spaces are oversized compared to the opportunity of today. Because today you have West Beach Bay, you have J1, you have the IFC, you have so many key destinations where especially a high-end F&B offering is going to, right? So that's what you were mentioning, Jumeirah. Jumeirah has 50 restaurants in, which is still doing very well because of all the ecosystems and the 2,000 rooms that are in that complex, right? But I think that it's I wouldn't put my money today in a restaurant in Dubai. Let's put it this way. I think it's very risky.
It is, and even though it's my livelihood, it is risky. And it's risky, I think, because, like you mentioned, West Beach, which has been hugely successful, incredibly noisy, but I've sort of walked along it and been around it a few times, and just from an F&B perspective, you're like, this is cool, because it's when the beach clubs merged with restaurants, and it just went from I was doing feasibility studies at the time for stuff down there, and everyone wanted to have now a 300 cover restaurant with a beach club, which is crazy. But then they go and do...
But actually, for me, the success of West Beach and Coco Bay and February 30th and Surf Club and Lucky Fish, all that initial stretch is actually because it's the opposite. People experience the beach and then they stay and hang out in the restaurants in flip-flop and swimsuit, and then they party, right? but it's not a posh restaurant by the beach, right? If you go club, the part on where Eva and all the others are, for example, you cannot go from the beach to the restaurants as an experience because you're not well dressed enough, right? So that journey of beach club from day, sunset, dinner and party, it was not here before. We had Barasti, but
yeah. Sorry, Barasti. I've had some great times in Barasti.
Yeah, me too.
2018 World Cup, where England got to the semi-finals, so the whole thing in Barasti, in the Budweiser Dome.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah,
awesome for stuff.
We all
like
had
that.
a great time in Barasti.
So.
Just the things are moving,
Yeah, I'm never getting in there again.
But now I think they reduced it, right? It's smaller in space.
No, they've Barasti. So now there is this new. I say new. It's probably been going on for about 18 months, but it's now because it's becoming big event driven now. So I know some people at a company called Mac Global that do a lot of huge events, and they were saying that I actually had one of their wonderful Roberta Hickey. She was on the podcast, that they want to turn Dubai into the Ibiza of the winter time. So all the clubbers will do the proper Ibiza in summer, and then they come here over the winter and so on and so forth. And now it's with the Soho garden complexes, and they're doing the events in Expo and the amphitheatre and all this sort of stuff that we see. Barasti's now, like Zero Gravity did, moving into that space of having, I mean, they think they had Steve Aoki about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
5,000 people, big day. Yeah, but he throws a cake into the crowd. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah.
If you're partying a night out, someone chucks a big cake in your face, like, I'd be kicking off big time. Anyway, but that's what Barasti, I think, is becoming. But what I was sort of alluding to is with J1 opening up, it's like, is everyone from West Beach just going to go... And then West Beach... This is my biggest issue with Dubai, and going back to why I wouldn't do restaurants, because you can be, if you spend 15, 16, 20 million dirham on your fit out and stuff like that, and you're looking at a 3, 4, 5 year ROI, which on the current business climate is stretching into 6 or 7 years, you know, which is going through your refurb cycle, etc. The fact is there's too much risk in the fact that you can be really popular for about 2 years.
For how long? That's the point, right?
That's the thing.
I'm a West Beach guy, and I will try. I didn't go to J1 because it's extraordinarily expensive. I know that if I wait 1 month, we are in Ramadan, I can go in for free, and so it is going to happen. Everybody, we all gonna try it, but someone will like it and someone will come back, you know. But we added supply. So how can we generate more demand at the end of the day, right? So I've been told that some places are massive, are really big in J1. And the problem of massive places is that if you don't fill in, you feel alone, empty, no vibe, no energy, and which is actually what I like a lot about West Beach, because they are, especially the part that I mentioned before, is very well conceptualized, right? So,
yes. The distance between...
They're just missing the pool. If they had a pool, those places would be perfect.
Well, there's one there called Isla. And I was working with a company called Fighter Brands who designed it. And I did like the feasibility study for it, you know, the figures and the long-term plan. And the biggest thing we kept talking about was pools. Yeah. You know, there was also, I was with a small group of people once looking at one of the I won't mention which one it is, but one of them there that might be becoming available on that stretch. And again, pool. You know,
no, they only in the club they did this communal pool, but it doesn't work, and the music is confused between the different outlets, and I don't like that. But Kaima with Rikas, they have a pool, and it's
no, because
nice.
You need it. Like
you need it.
You need
from
it.
June
you need to do the partying
October,
and the pool
you need
thing.
it.
Yeah, 100%.
The sea is unapproachable, you know, and
you need the pool. Yeah. So look, I'm going to look at my watch. There we go. So I love this conversation. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's great. I always want to bring people on that come from this huge corporate background, and people look at corporate people as, you know, my age, but I know how old you are, but we're very close.
Yes,
do you know
we
what
are
I
very
mean?
close.
Very, very close age. And, you know, you come in with your suits and briefcases and figures and this and that. And it could all be perceived to be boring. And one question I do want to ask...
And you know that I'm boring.
I would say, are you boring? Or how were you as a youngster? Like, were you... You know, hospitality people are nuts. And like maybe when they cross over into the corporate role, people think that they don't remember how nuts they were. Like,
for me, one of the key values, I mean, I got two values and I live with two values. One is leave a legacy and the other one is have fun, right? And to have fun is not just to have fun, but is to find the fun in whatever you do every day, you know? So I love laughing at work. I love laughing. We do meeting together. You know, I've never serious for an entire meeting, but probably not for half an hour in a meeting, right? I like to provoke conversations. I like to provoke people. I like to get proper answers. You know, I like feeling the temperature in the room, understanding, because if we are bored in a 1 hour meeting, we accomplish way less than having the meeting in an engaged way, right? I know we were talking before. You remember some expression that I used in some specific meetings, and I don't remember because I do every day.
No, but
sometimes I'm not politically correct. But I take the chance that I'm Italian, so you know, we Italians, we are very direct, and actually,
but direct is good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that, I think it's always hospitality is. I've always loved it because it is fun. If you've started, you know, right down at the bottom, it's about fun. It's about expression. Yeah. It's about creating. I suppose in marketing as well. If you think about what you argue about on a daily basis, sometimes I like to remind people, take a step back and actually think, what are we actually arguing about? Now, the argument's good. The argument's good, the debate's good. But we're debating and arguing about what DJ to book to entertain people. How authentic should the food be? Should I put chicken on this pizza?
No. The answer is no. You know,
but I think
I had actually recently because in some of the meetings, because I represent the owner and I got the operator, but some owner representative, they also come to the meeting, right? And funnily enough, there was an owner's representative which went to the owner saying, kind of complaining because I'm joking too much during the meeting.
Okay.
You know? So I say, okay, what should I lead it, like a fucking funeral? I mean, okay, the numbers were not great.
Kill someone,
right? but you engage with people through fun, right? So you engage conversations through fun, and then also the other ways you find fun. And during the weekends, during midweek, I typically work a lot. I tend to work 60, 70 hours a week and travels and stuff. But also when I go around with the colleagues and we travel together, you know, let's play bowling. I've got the hotel, luckily they just refurbished in Riyadh with a bowling alley. So,
naturally you have to try that.
Free, so
it's my job.
Yeah, you know,
exactly. I have to test this out.
With the alcohol-free beer, but...
Well, you know that more and more people are not drinking. I've been having this conversation so much with people recently where I think they're saying 35% of people aged between 18 and 30 now are not drinking. And the rise of non-alcoholic products is coming through. And I watched a very interesting piece on how, you know, let's say, I don't want to say Gen Z, but Gen Z don't want to drink because everyone's filming everything. You know, when I was younger, if there were mobile phones filming me and my mates in raves and, I mean, we'd all be cancelled. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We'd all be cancelled. So, sort of, do you think that's coming through? Do you think that's going to have a big impact? You know, the way that tech's changing, the youngsters are changing, you know?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I think in Europe there is a massive problems of drugs rather than drinking, which here is very well controlled.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I think I see my older son is 18 and he parties like his father, you know, and so
Be careful. Whatever gets said goes out.
he knows, everybody knows.
Don't get too comfy.
So no, I'm not sure about that. So to be honest,
Let me just sort of, do you see in there, because obviously you monitor data and you're managing the data in different countries in the world. How are the 18 to 25-year-olds traveling, booking? Like people my age, we always think, I say this at work, is that the minute I'm building a venue or designing an activation for a 50-year-old man, I'm out of business. I've got to try to think like a 25-year-old. But how are they traveling? Is it on the up? Is it the same?
Online, everything is online. No. They would never consider to enter into a travel agency or asking for human advices. They may ask ChatGPT what is a great location, 2 hours distance from here, and at that budget, and so on and so forth. Right? They do a lot of this, and then they go online. They definitely prefer to spend less on transportation and even accommodation, and more on fun and events and happy life, you know, clubbing and stuff. There are incredible destinations. Mykonos is
I've been there quite a lot.
Yeah.
Getting more and more expensive.
Yeah, and my son, for his graduation, had to go to Mykonos, obviously.
So I have one final question.
Oh.
I have to ask.
No.
I'm going to do it. I have to do it. The reason you're on here is you actually sat and watched the episode with Charlie Spurway.
That's correct.
About love bombing.
That's correct.
And you messaged me saying that you're currently love bombing. How is your love life? I'm in so much trouble.
I'm totally in what she was describing on this second life that you have after 20 years of marriage, and at the beginning you just go party, and then you start finding out those apps. The apps are totally useless, and nothing is helping. You want to find a relationship, and so on and so forth. And the interesting bit is that I realized when she was talking about love bombing, I realized that there was actually
Can I just interrupt? And I'm going to say this to the cat. It's bombing.
Bombing.
So I want to apologise to everybody from England, okay? It's bombing and plumbing.
Thank you.
Two things I hear all the time.
Thank you.
The English have completely effed up language by putting letters in that you don't say.
Yeah,
so
good,
sorry.
good.
So
no, it was actually
bombing.
good. It was actually good to know that I was not the only one, and actually there is a phenomenon. Right?
Everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It happened to you as well.
Huh?
It happened to you as well.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, listen, we've all done it. Yeah. I challenge, as far as love bombing is concerned, I challenge anyone to say that they've never done it. That they've never gone and said, met somebody and felt really good,
because you
and then
want
just gone
to,
straight down the rabbit hole.
You want to feel the teenager which is still inside you, right? So you want to have that feeling. And then once you rationalize, then actually, in a few days, I got my feet back on the ground and everything was fine. but thinking about that, I had lots of fun. It was,
and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, find the fun.
Yes.
Well, look, I mean, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. We decided to do this very quickly, so I really respect the fact that you've come and done this. I ask everyone that's come on here that if there's one thing they want to sort of leave, metaphorically on the table to any youngsters watching that might want to go into hospitality marketing and go on to be you. What's the one thing you would say?
I would say it's a fascinating industry which offers lots of global opportunities, and there are not many. And actually, my daughter, the second one, she's interested in studying hospitality and entering this industry. But get prepared for the wild, because it's wild. It's wild out there, right?
For sure. It's the best thing about it. No 2 days are the same.
I actually was laughing with a dear friend. He was my mentor, and he passed in Hilton. And I was texting him, when I left Hilton, I found out that Hilton is a great park, well curated, but it's a park. And outside you have the Wild West, and And actually, you need to be a different animal in order to survive in the wild rather than surviving in a park. So yeah, get ready for the unexpected, and get ready for having fun, right?
Fantastic.
Thanks for
Francesco,
having me. I really appreciate
thank you
what you're
so much
doing.
for coming.
It's a great show. I'm going back and watching the podcast that I missed because I recently found out about this, and very good.
Thank you.
Well
I really
done.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.